Well, welcome back. Now, my name is Ted Thomas, and we're going to talk about making money today. Now, you're certainly in the right place. In today's episode, I'm going to discuss, can you make money in real estate investment? And you sure can, and that's why so many people get involved. So again, my name is Ted Thomas, and I've been involved in a subset of the traditional real estate business for over 30 years. Now, in this episode, I'm going to reveal how you can make money in an unusual segment of the traditional real estate market. Now, this is unusual because a lot of people just don't know about it. So they have no idea about tax liens or tax deeds or defaulted properties, which is nothing more than properties that people or property owners did not pay their property tax. Now, what are we talking about? We're talking about homes, small office buildings, could be small family farms, it could be residential lots, it could be that type of real estate. Okay, there's going to be tons of that in the traditional market, and there's going to be plenty of it in the tax defaulted market. So this is a business that has been around for decades. By that I mean for well over 200 years. Now, it helps if you're in business if you have a competitive advantage. So I'm going to show you how to have a competitive advantage and how you can make money in this business. Now, when I discovered tax liens and tax deeds, well, they had been around for absolutely decades, and I just didn't even realize it. And when I found out, believe me, I never looked back, because you could see how to make profit right away, and I'm going to show you how to do that on this episode. Now, the legislature of all of the states in the United States have created laws. Now, they call the law a statute. So the statute, they have statute books with these laws, okay? Now, they print those books so anybody can learn what the law is. You can go to the library and see that, go to an attorney's office and see it. Even many of the counties will have a library so you can look. Now, the legislature has mandated that the county board of supervisors or the county commissioners must require the treasurer collect taxes. So the treasurer then levies taxes, they can collect taxes, and if they can't collect the taxes, what they will do is they'll seize the property because of uncollectible taxes. So they'll confiscate the property, and then they'll take it and put it at auction, and they will sell the property for the back taxes. Now, when I say sell the property for back taxes, I'm talking about they're going to sell that property for pennies on the dollar. Now, how would you know about that? You'd know because the county will have the auctions on their website, and in addition to that, they'll also put them in the newspaper, and so they'll have dozens of these properties, whereas a large population county will have hundreds, and in some cases, thousands. All right, what do you want to know about these auctions? Well, right away, you're going to have a competitive advantage. These properties are going to be sold generally on the courthouse steps. The treasurer will auction the property, and they'll start the bids 60%, 70%, 80% below the tax value. All right, now savvy entrepreneurs watch these auctions, and they head over there and see if they can buy these properties basically for the back taxes, 10 or 20 cents on the dollar. All right, now the starting bids are always so that the county can collect the back taxes. So those starting bids could be as low as 5 cents on the dollar. Anyway, you're going to start low, and it's the place to start an auction. Now, when you buy at that price, you can sell it any price you want. So if you're buying at 10 and 20 cents on the dollar, you certainly have a competitive advantage. Now, the situation is going to get a lot better when I tell you that the county treasurer is authorized and mandated to delete the mortgage. In other words, cancel the mortgage or the deed of trust loan. So when you buy these properties, you can be paying 10, 20 cents on the dollar, and the properties will have no mortgage because the county, by law, has taken the mortgage off the property. Now, I know this is sounding unbelievable that you can get real estate for 10 and 20 cents on the dollar, but I'm here to tell you there's over 3,000 counties in the United States. They will all have tax defaulted auction. So what are we talking about today? Well, we're talking about your question, can you make money in real estate? Well, you answer the question yourself. If you can buy it for 10 or 20 cents on the dollar, and you can sell it for 50 cents or 75 cents on the dollar, would you be making money? Well, you certainly would, and you can make a lot of it. So I teach people how to do this, and we generally tell them to get involved in properties where they can make $25,000, $50,000 on one deal. $25,000 to $50,000 on one deal. So let's continue and talk more about that. Now, when I discovered this business, I never looked back. Why not? because I could see right away if I could buy for these low prices, 10 or 20 cents on the dollar, I could sell for whatever I want. Now, if I didn't think I could sell it for a high price, I didn't have to bid on the property. So that eliminated a lot of the risk. So now I could get in business, be an entrepreneur, and keep a lot of the risk out of the deal. Plus, now I have a competitive advantage. If I pay 20 cents on the dollar and everyone else is paying 100 cents on the dollar, well, I've got a lot better chance of selling and making money. All right, now further research in the public records and the state statutes will tell you over 3,000 counties will have a total of 5,000 auctions this year. They're going to sell those properties for pennies on the dollar. Now, the county does not want the property. Why doesn't the county want the property? They don't need a defaulted property. They already own all the administration buildings, the schools, the roads, the parks. They've got all the property they ever want. So all they want to do is they want to get that property off the defaulted list and onto the honorable paying their taxes list. So to get it off the defaulted list, they will sell it for as low a price as they possibly can. And that low price is the starting bid generally is very close to the very back taxes on that. So if it has delinquent taxes, that's where the bidding is going to start. Now, as I say, the county owns all the property you want, and they do not want the property. So in this episode, what are we talking about? How you can make money in real estate. Or the question really was, can you make money in real estate investing? You're starting to see that. If you can buy for 10 cents on the dollar and sell for 70 cents on the dollar, all that margin belongs to you. All right, so these auctions, yes, they'll be attended. They're not mob scenes by any means, but the people will attend those. So you can find out about these auctions on the county website, and they'll advertise them in the newspaper. They do them online and they do them offline. Now, here's the question you should answer yourself. If you can buy a property right next door to you for 10 or 20 cents on the dollar, would you want to do that? Especially if it didn't have a mortgage? Well, of course you would. You'd want to know how many of those you could buy. Well, I'm telling you, there'll be at least 3,000 auctions, and these properties are sold for the minimum bid on many occasions. If no other bidders show up, it's snowing outside or it's raining, or no bidders show up, you're going to get properties for absolute minimum bids and be able to make a small fortune. All right, so how many properties do you want? It's going to be absolutely up to you. You can have as many as you want. Nationwide, county governments have been selling tax defaulted property for over 200 years. I said over 200 years at 5,000 different auctions. They're happening every single day. Every working day, there's auctions going across America. Now, many student investors discover this, and they don't know how to handle it. Well, how are you going to handle it? You're going to have to learn what you can sell this property for. You don't want to just buy things for the sake of buying them. So in many instances, these properties will have no redemption. In other words, when you pay for it, you'll own it right there. So the auction purchaser can immediately sell the property. Now, there are some states that will have redemption, and we'll talk about that on another video. So let's give you a typical example. So let's say in this example, the property has a value of $100,000. However, it's 2 years behind in the taxes. So let's say it's in default for $5,000. Well, more than likely, the auctioneer at that auction will start the auction at very close to the $5,000. Now, you're probably not the only savvy investor out there. Other people are going to look at that property too. So let's say the official starts the auction at $5,000. Anybody can bid. It's a public auction. Anybody can do that. So let's assume the property is sold, and it's always sold to the highest bidder. So let's say the highest bidder spends $30,000. Now think about that. The property had a value of somewhere around $100,000, all right, and now they bought for $30,000. Now, I don't know if this property is brand new, sparkling, and smelling good. It probably is slightly used and abused. However, if you got it for 30 cents on the dollar, now not only is the county happy because they've got their money, but you're going to be pretty darn happy too because you got a property for 30 cents on the dollar. So what are you going to do with it? Well, first let me tell you what the county's going to do. The county's going to take that property off of the defaulted list and put it over here on the honorable paying their taxes list. That's what they want. They want people paying their taxes every single year. But what are you going to do? Well, you could sell it. Now, how are you going to sell it? Well, I teach people buy it low and sell it low. So if you bought it for 30 cents on the dollar, why not sell it for, say, 60 cents on the dollar? That leaves you the margin between your 30,000 and the 60,000. Not bad. That's a lot of money to make on one property. So let's say that you decide you're going to sell the property. Well, how would you do that? Well, you can put it on Zillow, you can put it on the multiple listing, you can put it on Trulia, you can put it on Craigslist, you can put it signs on the property, you can sell it on eBay, you can sell them in the auction. In other words, there's lots of media to help you sell the property. So let's say you get a buyer that wants the property. So the buyer is offering $55,000. Well, are you going to accept that? Well, of course you're going to accept that because your purchase price was $30,000. That means the sales price is $55,000 and you paid $30,000. That's a potential profit of $25,000. How many deals have you made in your life where you made $25,000? So you bought it low and you sold it low. This is going on across America for people that know how to do it for decades. Your return on investment is over the top. If you invested $30,000, you got that back plus another $25,000. You've almost doubled your money on one deal. My name is Ted Thomas. Now, before I go, I want to give you a warning. Before you go to an auction, before you bid, make sure you've looked at the property. I believe in boots on the ground. If you can't put your boots on the ground, get someone you trust to do that. Because there could have been a hurricane. There could have been a fire. There could have been a windstorm. Or what if the property is located next to a chicken farm? I don't know what could happen, but you want to make sure that that property is going to have value. Second thing you want to be careful of is don't bid too high. Always know what your exit strategy is. So when you purchase a property, don't purchase it until you know what your exit strategy is. Those are the two most important parts of the tax lien and tax deed business. I'll see you on the next video.